whirlwind round is like we've said in the past, we go and look back at the last week and give a recap on the weather impacts. And we did see, I would say, I don't know, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong with how I'm going to say this, significant impact in the Patriots Dallas game. Sean.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And there was periods where we had some heavy rainfall rates and some winds that were whipping. We saw that primarily in the quarterback play. Dak Prescott, no TDs, and he only had around 200 yards. So this was a very subpar, anomalous performance for Dak, for somebody that's been an all-star this year. And Tom Brady, he only had around 190 yards and 1 TD. So there was no stellar performance that week for the QBs. And as a result, our wide receivers struggled a little bit too. You had Amari Cooper, who threw up a big goose for everybody and had 0 receptions for 0 yards. But we did see the running backs get a lot of volume. Both Zeke and Sony Michel, surprisingly, got 20-plus carries.
Yeah, we the Patriots game was more of the slam dunk type of weather event that we felt more confident about. We covered that game more intensively. Sunday morning, though, we did issue a new caution for some of the other games that we were suspecting some impacts in Philadelphia at the Redskins, and I think that, I'm sorry, the Philadelphia Eagles was more of like an event where the rain happened early and then it started to kick out, but we were worried about the field conditions being grass. So we did issue that as we move forward. So it's always good to stay up to date with us on our social medias at FFWeatherguys.
I just want to say,
just real quick. And the wind was whipping in that game. And it looks like, even Carson Wentz, who's not been playing well anyway, but it looked like the wind may have a little bit of influence on him as well. Yeah, it was a brutal game. I played him in 2 or 3 leagues and he crushed me.
Yeah. So we did, it was a good weekend for weather last weekend. We do have a picture.
Wait. Before we get there, I just want to say Dak Prescott brought me home some green there. We had a nice little friendly side wager with Colin down there. And, I think that was Dak Prescott was my Thunderstruck pick, bust of the week.
Why don't we – what was that bet, by the way? Let's inform everyone.
So it was a straight bet, but then I put in a little escalator to hedge my risk because I still had hope for Dak. But it was a good point that we never saw him play in weather -1 game. I was thinking that he could, go against stats, but that's why we're here to show that stats don't lie. But yeah, so the bet was that Mike said Baker Mayfield would score more points in our league of record at a half-point PPR. And that was for $10. We bet big dollars in this league. And then I did a 3-to-1 escalator saying that Baker Mayfield will not score more than 40 points in our league. So for another $5. So if I won $5, if he won 15. So I covered the under 40.
He scored 37 points.
Yeah, but Dak got crushed. So with an exposure of $25, I made out with only having to pay $5. So I kind of take that as a victory.
Yeah, I mean, Dak, and I don't think anybody expected Dak to have that kind of performance. I think, and we also have to consider, though, you're going against a stellar New England defense. I mean, this just shows you how real that New England defense is. They're like a top 10 fantasy producer this year for all positions. I was just
going to say top 10 fantasy player.
Yeah. It's just been, and it's week in and week out. The Bill Belichick defense is just performing.
So the Patriots defense are the best player on their squad, but I do want to say that when you have a weather event going against a tough defense, it seems to be more of these high confidence calls of when there's going to be significant bust of fantasy production on the offense.
We saw that against the 49ers Washington game, right? Like where Washington just could get nothing going. I think they only scored 3 points that game or something, and that washout in Washington. And that was another example where the 49ers defense has just been unbelievable this year, and Redskins could do nothing.
Okay, so I want to say 2 things. It's a great segue with the 49er defense and weather because that's going to be coming up again this week. And 2, you guys look very well dressed this morning.
Oh, as do you.
Yeah, well, especially Mike.
Look at that. So
Mike went a little all out here.
So we are representing some fantasy football weather guys gear and swag. we do have a slight, a small following on our channels, but leave comments if you'd actually be interested in maybe next year purchasing some gear. We could think about that, but leave us a comment and tell us what you think.
Yeah, all those weather weenies out there, you want this. Come on.
Or fantasy football. We're both.
Yeah.
We're blending the worlds.
If you're a fantasy football player and love weather, this is the shirt for you.